I'm Stratton Sklavos. I'm the chairman of EchoFox and also the managing general partner of Vision Esports. I'm joined up here this morning by Rick Fox, of course, the founder and a board member still at EchoFox, and by Jared Jeffries, our president of EchoFox. And we'd all like to welcome you to our EchoFox's first annual roster day. As you can see around the room, we're also joined by some of our EchoFox. You can also see we're joined around the room on the sides here by some of our 2018 EchoFox roster players, and you'll be hearing more from them and about them very shortly. This is our 30,000 square foot headquarters for not only EchoFox, but also Twin Galaxies, as well as Vision Entertainment, our esports content company. And it also houses Vision Venture Partners, which is a private equity firm that Rick, myself, and our other partner, Ahmed Rosada, formed in December 2015. But now on to today's program. When Rick founded EchoFox in late 2015, he believed that esports will become pro sports. He also believed that the best competitive video game players in the world would become pro athletes. And lastly, he believed that the millions of fans that were consuming millions of hours of esports content every year would grow to hundreds of millions of fans from every corner of the world. Let's fast forward 2 years, and I think it's more than fair to say Rick was right. Boy, was he right. That astounding transition from esports 1.0 to esports 2.0 has come with an explosion in the number of professional esports leagues, a sharp rise in player salaries. Applause for that. Rapid growth of sponsorship dollars, and as we've seen recently, broadcast rights deals that are now measured in tens of millions of dollars. In fact, esports now has the same economic drivers and the same ecosystem components that define any professional sport in the world. Another key insight that Rick had was that over time, the best pro players want to play for the best team organizations. And as Rick knows better than any of us, the best organizations are those that value and treat their players as family, support them on and off the field, nurture their development, and surround them with veterans and knowledgeable staff and coaches. But most importantly, they create a durable and long-lasting culture that exudes confidence, integrity, and success. That was Rick's Lakers. That was Jared's Indiana Hoosiers and NBA teams. That was my San Jose Sharks. That is the New York Yankees, our newest lead investor in Vision Esports. And with Rick and Jared's leadership, that will be EchoFox. So again, welcome to our first annual roster day. And let me turn the microphone over to my friend, my partner, and the founding visionary of EchoFox, Rick Fox.
Thank you, Stratton. Try not to get emotional.
Oh, you can try.
I can try. I'm not very good at that. A year has come and gone rather quickly. Last we were here, we were celebrating Foxcara, which was 6 months ago. But now we are at the beginning of the 2018 esports season. And we are here to celebrate the player, our players, the EchoFox players. But it's in these moments that I always like to stop amidst all the tireless hard work from our staff that make this all possible, and celebrate not only just the accomplishments of our organization and this company, but to thank everyone involved for, like I said, their dedication and their trust. Not only are they building this organization, but they are building an entire industry that we're all a part of. I think back to some of my greatest successes in my life, being a part of professional sports, being a part of teams in general. And I found one common thread. I've been on great teams, but it's always been because I've had great teammates. And in those teammates and along those journeys, I've won championships, but I've also had great failings. I've fallen short. But in all those cases, I've gotten up and learned from those experiences and suited up, showed up, and fought another day. Now, those journeys of success, like I said, didn't come alone. I had some of the best mentors, some of the greatest owners in sports, some of the greatest GMs, teammates, you can name them, but it's well documented. And it was through those experiences that I grew as a person. I grew as a man, and I took away not only those championship rings, but I took away life memories and experiences and friendships forever. So before we move on, I would be remiss if I didn't once again, because I don't think I get enough time to do this, is to stop and celebrate. See, this is where I get all emotional. Stop and celebrate these men, Stratton, Ahmet, Jared, Jace, and some of the other people here. I can keep going down the line. I keep always seeing you, Jake, employee number one, for their commitment to all of us in here. What they do on a day-to-day basis, you may not see. You guys are getting introduced to, but it is there. It has been their belief. I mean, I had a mustard seed of an idea, and if it wasn't for Ahmet and Stratton and Jace and now Jared changing career to be here, and for all of the people you see here that you should get to know, this would not have grown into what you see. So I have the biggest head in the room, Jace always reminds me. And it's probably what people see the first and see most, but I'm just one representative of all of us, okay? So Stratton, thank you again for your vision. Your team is amazing. I get up every day to come here because I'm excited to see what you have up your sleeve next. It's simply magical. Ahmet is not here. He's probably back in his office working 24/7 for all of us. He's pretty quiet in his presence, but pretty thunderous with his coverage of all of us, and his protection of us. Jace, it is my commitment to make Jace Hall great in 2018. Great. Haley, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. That's an inside Echo Fox thing. But Jace, you make us great because of your genius and your commitment to the gamer and every single one of us. And that's important. Jared, thank you for making the transition. And if you don't know about Jared's career, you know he was well on his track to staying in the NBA and being a leader in that field for an organization. Instead, he took the leap of faith to come here with us. So I thank him for that. I would take the time, as the people here deserve the time, for me to go down and thank every one of them individually, but we have some new people joining us. Mike, Dan, recently, welcome. We have people that have been here long-standing, the ladies here that keep us going in the office, and the Vision Entertainment crew. I see some of our partners, Daniel, are here. I think Ellie's here somewhere. But these are the people that really are the heartbeat of this organization. So when you're walking, as Stratton mentioned, the 30,000 feet here of this space, get to know them. They love you, they support you from afar, up close. And we're looking forward to having a great 2018 as an organization. Before we move on, I'd like to announce that Echo Fox will also be going in 2018 into a new game. That game will be Madden. Our player is here, so you'll get the chance to meet him. And as we start the 2018 season, I want to remind, as you look around, the players, because I'm going to speak to you today. Today is a day of celebrating you, right? Some of you are old and veterans of our organization. Some of you, this is your first day as a pro. And for that, we say welcome. But whether you are new or old, what you are doing is representing Echo Fox, and you're representing all of us, yourselves included. And for that, as you can see, we're pretty committed to excellence. And it's not just the excellence that we each bring to the table, it's more importantly, the excellence we bring out of each other. That's what we're about. So, thank you again for your trust and your commitment to us. And before I pass it on to Jared, we're going to actually celebrate the past and also look forward to the future with the video. There'll be no stopping us.
One roster, one team, one organization, one family. Stand tall, be proud. We are Echo Fox. We're going to be that team that everybody wants a jersey from.
We've assembled the best LCS roster in the history of Echo Fox. And in support of our LCS team, the Young Guns, our academy team. Echo Fox Call of Duty team will be competing. The Pro Series Call of Duty World League.
Well, here we go.
And now, we conquer Madden.
They are just steamrolling right now. Superior coordination from Echo Fox. That team fire is 100% on point.
Echo Fox as an organization wants to be the best in the world. And the group of guys that we have here, this new group, they're going to help us get it there.
President of Echo Fox.
All right, man. Rick did a great job. In closing, if anybody has any questions for the three of us, we'll open that up and we'll do that. But I'm honored to be here. You know, it's pretty cool to be a part of this. And these guys, everybody around here, did a great job. And I believe in every single one of you guys as athletes. And we're going to make the transition. We're going to make this a lifelong goal for all of us to be successful. So any questions for the three of us? Somebody gotta have one question. Anybody ask a question? You. Ask a question. You know what? Actually, tonight we're all gonna have dinner at Carmine's. It's a great place, so you guys will really enjoy that. You better eat too. Any other questions? Yes.
What made you want to get into esports? Oh, what made you want to get into esports?
I'm not gonna lie. I went to a conference last year and had a chance to hear a really great panel speak about esports. And I wanted to move to LA, so I told Ahmed, I said, look, man, if you have anything come up, any jobs in LA that come up, let me know. Met with Stratton over the course of about 2 weeks and did a bunch of research about this space and the growth, and you know, took a leap of faith, man. And I'm here now. I'm excited about it. It's a career path I never could have imagined.
Well, let me add a little bit, which is when he came over to my house, we were talking about having him come into Echo Fox. He brought with him 2 about half-inch thick booklets, right? The first one was Denver Nuggets and everything about every free agent that was going to be available in the market, where they might fit into the Denver Nuggets team that next coming year, what it might cost to get them in, how that would affect their salary cap, what that was going to mean to the existing veterans on the team. And the second book was about everybody who could be drafted, right, from college that year, all the rookies that were going to be coming in the league, and what pro teams were likely to pick ahead of the Nuggets that were going to get the first 6, 7, 8 guys, and then where they were going to pick and who their most likely best fits were and the rest. And I looked at it and I said, that is the most amazing analytical set of tools and skills that I've seen relative to pro sports and athletes and getting your organization ready to go forward into the next season. So, and I had a lot of good folks at the San Jose Sharks when I was there, did similar things, but not to this level of quality and depth. And fast forward now about 5 months, and prior to this new League of Legends team coming on board, those same 2 booklets, only related to every League of Legends player that was a free agent, who was going to come up from the boot camps, who was going to be available, same 2 books were presented to us, right? And that made our job simpler and more comprehensive and more well-informed, and that's why those 10 young gentlemen are sitting right there.
It's always best when someone else brags about you, right? See, you're too humble.
Yeah, no, I mean, everybody that's in this room a lot of research, a lot of work. Daniel, who's sitting over here, he won't say it, but he puts a ton of effort in all this.
Stand up, Daniel.
Stand up, Daniel.
So everyone knows.
Yeah, so they know who you are, Daniel. We're trying to work into it. Jay, Nick, Jim. A lot of research, a lot of development goes into this. You guys just aren't here by chance. You're here because you work to get to a level in each one of your games, and we do a lot of research, and we're so proud to have you guys here be part of this. Ask Rick a question. Somebody ask Rick a question. Yes.
Jess Collins with Twin Galaxies. This is a question for all of you. The question, since you guys have a lot of experience in physical sports, coming into this, you guys use the phrase leap of faith and stuff like that. What would you say is the biggest obstacle coming into a competitive esport as opposed to the physical sports?
Well, I mean, certainly from my perspective, it's coming up to speed and learning, right? I mean, remember, it's not esports, one league. It's esports with League of Legends as the NFL and Overwatch as the NBA and H1Z1 as the the NHL. So you sit here, you have to learn multiple different sports, right? And you have to learn what's interesting about them. Who's the highest competitors, right? Who wins? Why do they win? What's their strategies? What's the longevity of the game? Is the game like Call of Duty where it changes format, right, year to year? Or is a game like League of Legends where you get new champions every week or every month? So it's a lot of work and a lot of study to get into. But I think once you get through learning the leagues and the games, it's very, very similar to everything we did at the Sharks and what we've talked about with the NBA. You've got owners, teams, players, you've got fans, you've got leagues, you've got revenue sharing deals, you've got broadcast rights, you've got sponsorships, and you've got content creation. It exists in every pro sport in the world. And that's what's so similar about it, that we all get to apply our past experiences, hopefully, to this new realm.
I can speak to it from a player's perspective, having been a player, and watching our players grow as professional athletes. I always say there are pros and then there's professionals. A lot of people can be a pro. A lot of guys or girls can make a professional career by being talented, having skills, whatever it is that gets you recognized, right? But how you go from a pro to a professional requires a 360 approach of in-game and out-of-game, handling the stress, the critics, making money, being a teammate, understanding how to interact, with your coaches and your management. This is now business for them. It's their career. The ones that are able to do it well, do it because they figure out how to be a 360 professional, not just a pro. Because if you're just good in certain areas of your game, you may get a shot, you may last a few minutes, but can you stick around and be a leader in this industry? Because these are some of the first professional esport athletes in the world, and they're the best at what they do. And so when we look up 5, 6, 8, 10 years from now, they will have laid the foundation. It'll be because they can be professionals, not just pros.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I have one follow-up question. He mentioned that the game does change in, monthly or whatever. How do you guys adjust for that? Because in NBA or NFL, the game doesn't really change at all. Like little minor stuff, but it doesn't add game-changing balancing changes each time. How do you guys apply that to this?
I think it puts more of an onus on the athletes to understand what those changes are going to be. There's very little that we in management can do when the game changes to help them, right? We just need to give them the tools, all the support, have good coaches that understand what's changing, how the meta's changing in these games. And, as any pro athlete does, as Rick said, practice, practice, practice. So we try to make sure we understand before a season starts, right, what's changing. They understand it, and then they get to practice and change and adjust skills that they need to. But, football changes quite a bit, right? It does. And these rules changes happen in all these leagues. But clearly in esports today, the publishers drive what end up being changes in these games. And we think that over time, the leagues are going to have to start driving what changes in the game.
What's beautiful about these conversations as we keep moving forward is that it never fails. In these moments, we'll always find another nugget that really gives me greater admiration for what these guys have to do. The NBA, the NFL, the game changes there. They change the rules, they adjust things, they move the lines back. They do that all the time. They usually do it in the off season. Our pros do it, they have to deal with it every week in some cases. And so the stress and demands on that adjustment for them mentally, collectively as a group, and their strategy is heightened to a level that even I didn't experience. Having to do that throughout my 82-game regular season, I'd have to deal with that. I adjusted in the off season. They're adjusting on the fly.
And look, I mean, he's talking about that. On the other hand, we have a young man in the back of the room here who the game gets a war from him. He just changes game. That Sonic Fox is now just taking first in everything he tries with his teammates there. So the ability to progress across league, across sport, as you will, only exists here, right? Unless you're Michael Jordan and want to go play baseball.
And I mean, I'll say this. One of the coolest things is that when you walk into these arenas, you know, young, old, you know, skinny, fat, tall, I mean, all races, there is no discrimination in this sport. It's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. When I went to the NA championship in Boston this year, to see daughters and mothers, father and son, across all races in there and watching that, being a part of it, it's very unique to the space. And you don't see that a whole lot of times. Like if you go to football games, it's a certain crowd here. If you go to basketball games, a certain crowd here. This has no discrimination. You look across this room and all of the races and the creeds people here. It's pretty amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Travis.
Hey Rick, I just wanted to talk to you because I remember after 2015 finals when CLG won at Madison Square Garden, getting dinner with you and you kind of celebrating their win. It was not too much later that Echo Fox started to be a thing, right? And it's kind of crazy for me in this room right now to see how many players you have, how many partners you have working with you, how much staff you have, and it's been just over 2 years. So for you, what has this experience been like, finding partners and players and rosters and expanding into teams and finding sponsors, doing all of that just in the course of basically 2 years?
You know, Travis, it is amazing because you were there. I remember that dinner vividly. It was one of the impetus, the moments that was an impetus to all of this. And you were part of that conversation, which is really a joy to think back to in these moments. But you asked, how did we get here? You definitely, you don't do it alone. And that's what you see here, this entire staff. I like to think they found me. I didn't find them because I'm blessed to be associated with them. I talked earlier about just being a mustard seed of an idea, but it grows out of the vision of Stratton and his team, and Stratton came up with the idea of a roster day, and here I was, I'd been to hundreds of roster days. But it's like, that's right, yeah, we stop and we start the year off on the right note, and we celebrate esports, we celebrate our players, we kick them off on the right note, we introduce ourselves as an organization to the world. And yeah, in 2 years we've come far, and it's good to see you still here, leading the charge from that side, and I appreciate you taking me down memory lane.
Do you remember the story, though, that at halftime of that last match with CLG, he went in and gave a pep talk, and that's when they came out and won? I think that was the impetus.
I was a CLG fan, and now it's nice to have our own org to compete against them.
All right.
I think we're going to make players available.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So we have lunch in the back for everybody, but then we have all of our players available. Our league guys, LCS, Academy, Gears of War, Call of Duty, Madden. Our FGC guys are going to be sitting in the back. We have Vainglory coach and H1 coach. But thank you guys for coming. Enjoy it. Grab some lunch.
Thank you.